Please be seated. Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the National University of Ireland, President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, past President, members of Council, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, heads of school, distinguished guests, our graduates and colleagues, it's a real honour and pleasure to welcome you all to the RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences conferring ceremony as we celebrate the dedication and achievement of our graduates today on this very special day. Before declaring open the conferring ceremonies of RCSI and the National University of Ireland, I'd like to introduce the platform party. At the table at the top, on your right, we have Dr. Patrick O'Leary, Registrar and Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the National University of Ireland. On your left, we have Professor Deborah McNamara, President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. And then on the platform party, from your right-hand side, Ms. Anya Gibbons, Director of Development and Alumni Relations at RCSI, Ms. Judith Gilroy, Associate Director for Academic Affairs, Professor Lisa Alexander, Director of the Physician Associate Programme at RCSI, Professor Stephen Kerrigan, Deputy Head of Research at the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences, Professor Darren O'Connor, Head of the School of Postgraduate Studies, Ms. Mary Mitchell-O'Connor, Candidate for Honorary Doctorate, Professor Tracy Robson, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and my name is Cathal Kelly, Vice-Chancellor of RCSI. RCSI degrees are under Irish legislation, and they're also degrees of the National University of Ireland. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Professor Deborah McNamara, President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, to come forward and address our graduating class and guests.
Pro-Vice-Chancellor, National University of Ireland, Vice-Chancellor, RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, heads of school and academic colleagues, distinguished guests, and our graduating class of 2025. Good afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome each of you here to RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences Higher Degree Conferring Ceremony. My name is Professor Deborah McNamara and I'm President of RCSI. Today is a very proud day, not only for our graduates, your parents, families and friends, but also for the entire RCSI community. The higher degrees that we confer today are testament to an exceptionally high standard of achievement. So it's a moment of great celebration and one that you have earned through your resilience and commitment. Our mission at RCSI is to educate, nurture and discover for the benefit of human health. We're proud to be ranked in the top 5 universities in the world for our efforts to address the 3rd UN Sustainable Development Goal, which is good health and well-being. So this postgraduate conferring is a very special occasion for us because it recognises individuals who've pursued additional qualifications to become future leaders in healthcare education, research and service. On this important day, we applaud you not just for your achievements, but also for the resilience and determination that you have shown in completing your studies. The degree that you receive today is not simply a qualification. It's a symbol of your dedication to excellence, and it marks an important milestone in your career. With it comes a responsibility to be an advocate for good health and well-being. And today you will join a community of RCSI alumni who are deeply committed to improving human health all across the globe. We understand very much here at RCSI the role that we can play in empowering people to improve their health and well-being. And so we're really pleased to be moving ever closer to the opening of a new public health gallery at RCSI's latest education and research development at 118 St. Stephen's Green. So we look forward to welcoming you back to your alma mater to join us as we open our doors to the public for conversations about living longer, happier and healthier lives. Today we are also privileged to confer an honorary doctorate on a remarkable leader in Irish public life, Mary Mitchell-O'Connor. Mary, we are proud to honour you here today, and we thank you for your enormous contribution to the higher education landscape in Ireland, and most especially for your commitment to advancing opportunity, excellence and equality across the system. To each of our graduates, you should be so proud of what you've achieved so far, and it's only the beginning of your career. Your journey is just getting started, and your future holds so much promise. So we will watch with interest as you take your place among our alumni who are leading the world to better health. Enjoy every moment of this special day, a day to celebrate your success, to reflect on how far you've come, and to imagine the impact that you will make. Congratulations once again. We wish you every success.
Thank you, President. We now proceed to the awarding of the RCSI Honorary Doctorate. RCSI's Honorary Doctorate Award celebrates exceptional individuals who have positively impacted the world through education, research, or service. At RCSI, we believe our graduates hold similar potential, and our aim through our Honorary Doctorate's example is to challenge you to make a difference on this your graduation day. Today, we confer the award of Honorary Doctorate upon Miss Mary Mitchell O'Connor, former Minister for State for Higher Education, former Minister of Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation, and of Mitchell O'Connor Consulting. I'm now delighted to invite the 2025 Honorary Doctorate recipient, Miss Mary Mitchell O'Connor, to take her place on stage, and I invite Professor Tracy Robson, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs at RCSI, to come forward and to deliver the citation.
President, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our candidate for the RCSI Honorary Doctorate Award, Ms. Mary Mitchell O'Connor. Ms. Mary Mitchell O'Connor's commitment to education began with her career as a primary school teacher before advancing to the role of school principal. She then commenced her political journey, a career distinguished by her dedication to education, economic development and social issues. In 2004, she was elected to Dunleary Rathdown County Council, and during her time as councillor, she campaigned on various issues, including education and domestic violence. In 2011, she successfully contested her first general election, securing a seat in the 31st Dáil. In 2016, she was appointed Minister for Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation, where she played a crucial role in driving economic growth and job creation. During a period of economic recovery, Minister Mary Mitchell O'Connor developed and championed the 9 Regional Action Plan for Jobs, with a strong emphasis on regional and rural employment. During her time as Minister of State for Higher Education from 2017 to 2020, Mary Mitchell O'Connor led a comprehensive and transformative programme of legislative, strategic and policy reforms to enhance Ireland's higher education system. Through the enactment of the Technological Universities Act 2018, she transformed the Irish higher education landscape with the establishment of the 5 technological universities, delivering one of the core recommendations of Ireland's 2011 National Strategy for Higher Education. With an emphasis on industry-focused research, the technological universities broadened the scope and quality of higher education, providing greater opportunities for students and addressing the social and economic needs of their region. As Minister, she was pivotal in the development and enactment of the Qualifications and Quality Assurance Education and Training Amendment Act 2019, which strengthened the legislative framework for Quality and Qualifications Ireland. This legislation empowered the QQI to ensure high academic standards, reinforcing trust and confidence in Ireland's higher education system among students and employers, both nationally and internationally. Recognising the excellence of private higher educational institutions, she was also responsible for amending of the Universities Act 1998 through the Qualifications and Quality Assurance Act, enabling RCSI to apply for and achieve university designation within the state. Her groundbreaking leadership as Minister of State for Higher Education significantly enhanced the quality, accessibility and relevance of higher education in Ireland, making substantial contributions to national, economic and social objectives. She played a key role in the development of the Human Capital Initiative, a €300 million 5-year programme of investment that expanded higher education capacity to offer skills-focused courses tailored to meet the demands of emerging technologies. As a strong advocate for gender equality and diversity, Minister Mary Mitchell-O'Connor drove the implementation of policies and initiatives aimed at increasing the representation of women in leadership positions, addressing gender imbalances in STEM disciplines, and promoting inclusive practices across universities and research institutions. In particular, she strongly advocated the adoption of the Athena Swan Charter. She also championed policies to increase access to higher education for underrepresented groups, including students from disadvantaged backgrounds and those with disabilities. With the support of the Attorney-General of Ireland, she sought to secure a step change in diversity and gender equality in higher education in Ireland through the development and implementation of a Senior Academic Leadership Initiative for female-only professorial level recruitment into higher education institutions. She established a Gender Equality Task Force to deliver a 3-year action plan for gender equality in higher education institutions and convened a national workshop on consent and eradicating sexual violence in third-level education. In September 2019, she established and led a rapid response group on drug and substance abuse in higher education. Tasked with developing an action plan, this collaborative initiative involved liaising with senior academics, Gardaí, students, parents and first responders within institutions. Simultaneously, an extensive data gathering exercise across higher educational institutions was also initiated. This combined effort allowed the action plan to emphasise a holistic approach aimed at helping students lead healthy and successful lives. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Minister Mary Mitchell-O'Connor led the initial emergency response in higher education. She focused on a collaborative strategic approach with stakeholders, ensured the support of vulnerable students, addressed technology access and emphasised the importance of mental health supports. Her leadership during this challenging period guaranteed the continued online delivery of educational provision and end-of-year assessment by all higher education institutions for 400,000 students. Mary, we are delighted to welcome you here today to celebrate your outstanding contributions to the transformation and advancement of Ireland's higher education sector. We are very proud that you, as the most worthy candidate, have joined our special graduation ceremony to accept the highest academic award of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, University of Medicine and Health Sciences, the Honorary Doctorate in Science. I now call upon the President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, Professor Deborah McNamara, to make the award.
By virtue of my office of President, it gives me great pleasure to award you with the Honorary Doctorate of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. Congratulations.
It now gives me great pleasure to invite the 2025 RCSI Honorary Doctorate, Dr. Mary Mitchell-O'Connor, to address her graduates, staff and guests.
Thank you. Thanks. CEO.
President of RCSI, Pro Vice-Chancellor, NUI, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, the graduating class, friends and family. It is with profound gratitude and humility that I accept this honorary doctorate from the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. And I am very proud to say this: RCSI, University of Medicine and Health Services, ranked 5th in the world for Sustainable Development Goals 3 for good health and well-being in the impact rankings as reported in the Times Higher Education June 2024. It is a tremendous honour to be recognised by an institution of such historic standing and global reputation. It reaffirms my lifelong commitment to the power of education. RCSI, founded by Royal Charter in 1784, has long been a cornerstone of excellence in surgical training and professional standards. It is especially meaningful to accept this honour within the walls of this historic RCSI building, a structure integral to our nation's formation. During the 1916 Rising, Countess Markievicz and Michael Mallon raised the Irish tricolour on top of the RCSI building. It is also important to note that RCSI staff treated insurgents, soldiers and civilians alike with impartial compassion and medical professionalism amidst this conflict. And a little more than a century later, in 2016 to 2020, I would sit at the government cabinet table beside a portrait of the very same Countess Markievicz. She was the first woman elected to Dáil Éireann, and she was appointed to minister at the cabinet. Her political bravery remains a powerful symbol of courage and leadership. Yet, the shameful fact exists that only 23 women have ever served in cabinet since the foundation of this state. 213 men have served as cabinet ministers since 1919. This is a stark reminder to us of the continued work required to achieve true gender parity at Oireachtas level. Similarly, only 150 women have ever been elected to Dáil Éireann. 1,214 men have been elected to Dáil Éireann since 1919. A similar disappointing pattern exists in the underrepresentation of women in senior leadership roles across our state-funded universities. To address this, I introduced the Women-Only Senior Academic Leadership Initiative, or as it is affectionately called, SALI, during my tenure as Minister in charge of higher education. And up to then, no woman had ever been appointed president of a state-funded higher education institute in over 450 years. Today, 7 of our 13 university presidents are women, including this university. This is real, measurable progress, but there is still more to do. My sincere thanks to the Attorney General, Seamus Wolfe, and the brilliant Senior Assistant General Secretary, William Bosang, in the Department of Higher and Further Education for enabling this policy change. I also commend RCSI for highlighting the pioneering contributions of females in healthcare in the Women on Walls project in the RCSI boardroom. Education has long been both my vocation and conviction. I grew up on a farm in the west of Ireland, where education was seen as a path to generational advancement. My parents instilled in my siblings and me a love and respect for education. I was fortunate to benefit from government policy, such as Minister Donncha O'Malley's introduction of free second-level education. This policy provided opportunities for children from rural Ireland and disadvantaged urban areas, educational opportunities previously denied to their parents and grandparents. And by God, seized the opportunity we did. Today in Ireland, 95% of 20 to 24-year-olds have attained a higher secondary level of education, compared to 84% in the other 27 EU countries. Furthermore, 64% of 30 to 34-year-olds in Ireland have a third-level qualification, compared to 44% in the EU 27. As former President Obama said, the best anti-poverty programme is a world-class education. Education has been a cornerstone of Ireland's progress, driving both our prosperity and our pursuit of full employment, which we enjoy in Ireland today. I'm very proud of the work that I did to lay the legislative groundwork and to progress the merger negotiations for the formation of the 5 new technological universities during my time as Minister for Higher Education. These institutions provide further educational opportunities, especially for students outside urban areas. However, I now call for parity of esteem for all of our universities and for those working in our technological universities, equal pay for all staff in state-funded universities, whether traditional or newer. I also call on our government to follow through on the SALI commitment of 2019 and to honour it in full. As one of the world's most iconic sports brands reminds us, just do it. Simple words, but a powerful call to action. Having worked as a teacher and a school principal, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of education. I have seen students' comprehension ignite and educators flourish when properly supported. These experiences affirmed for me that education is a societal responsibility. As legislators and citizens, we must ensure universal, inclusive, and relevant access to knowledge. But as a nation, we must continuously remain vigilant. And as Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. In an era where discourse is often dominated by malignant narcissism in politics, superficial influencers, and hollow sound bites from social media, education remains our greatest source of opportunity and enlightenment. Our nation's response must be a collective recommitment to education and research as vehicles for meaningful societal transformation. The future of medicine does not rest on any single breakthrough. It will rest on you, our researchers, on our medics, and on your commitment to inquiry, collaboration, and ethical practice. The world is changing rapidly, presenting new challenges and opportunities. From the rise of infectious diseases to cutting-edge technologies, artificial intelligence, healthcare is evolving at an unprecedented pace. You, our researchers, will be at the forefront of these changes. Generations will depend on you. And from general practice to neurosurgery, the possibilities are endless, but so are the risks. The advent of misinformation is a serious threat, and it is your responsibility to fight against it. Esteemed graduate researchers, please uphold scientific methodologies, maintain ethical standards, and advocate for those who cannot. And finally, graduates, look after yourselves. Live, laugh, and love. Meander, travel, see the world, and bring it back with you. Teach us, inform us, and help us to understand. and to the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, I extend my deepest appreciation for this distinguished honour, especially your President, Deborah McNamara, CEO Cathal Kelly, Professor Tracy Robson, Professor Hannah McGee, and Professor Laura Vianney. I accept this honorary doctorate with immense pride and a sense of responsibility. Thank you to Patricia Stewart, Linda McQuaid, Tess Prone, Detta Fanning and Tony, Clodagh Hannon, Sean O'Fallou, and Don Thornhill. And on a personal note, I wish to thank my sons Stephen and Connor, Maeve, Esme, Safia, Max, Trace, Katrina, and Anthony. And I especially honour the memory of those who cannot be with me today, particularly my beloved parents and my late beautiful daughter-in-law, Idal. Goramila Mahagev Galer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mitchell O'Connor, for your wonderful address, a timely reminder of the tremendous progress made, that this progress can't be taken for granted and must be protected. We now move forward with the opening of the RCSI NUI conferring ceremony. I'd like to invite all the graduates to please stand for the opening ceremony. Universitas Hiberniae Nationalis, pre honorabilis pro cancellare totaque universitas, henc comita universitaria hodie convocato sunt ut haec muleres exime maxime, et hic viri maxime eximi, ad graduus academicus admitur. This is a meeting of the National University of Ireland for the purpose of conferring degrees. I will present the graduates in my role as Vice-Chancellor, and the degrees will be conferred by Dr. Patrick O'Leary, Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the National University of Ireland, and Professor Deborah McNamara, President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. I now formally declare the conferring ceremony open, and I'd like to invite the graduates for the Master of Pharmacy, MPharm, and the Master of Science in Physician Associate Studies only to remain standing. Other graduates can be seated in order to recite the graduate declaration, which you'd find on page 15 of your conferring booklet. And I invite Professor Tracy Robson, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs, to come forward to lead you in the graduate's declaration.
The RCSI Graduate Declaration, which you will recite together this afternoon, is a commitment to the highest standards of professionalism and ethical practice in your career as taught during your studies in RCSI. It gives me great pleasure on this special day of your conferring to invite the graduands of the Master of Pharmacy and the Master of Science in Physician Associate Studies to recite together, after me, the following declaration. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity.
I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will remember that there is a part to my profession and my science, and that warmth, empathy, and understanding can outweigh treatment alone. I will uphold the highest ethical standards and demonstrate unwavering academic integrity of my chosen profession. I will respect any confidential information that is trusted in me, even after the patient has died. I will not permit consideration of age, disease, or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor taken for you between duty and vocation. I will not use my professional knowledge to violate human rights or civil liberties, even under threat. I will respect and hard-won scientific aims of those whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge with those that follow. I will abide by the code of conduct of my profession, and I will enroll in the highest standards of practice, lifelong education, and research in the interest of human health. I make these promises solemnly and freely and upon my honour.
You may be seated. I now invite the graduands to stand that will receive rewards in Master of Science Advanced Surgical Practice, Master of Science by Research, Master of Surgery, and Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy. Graduands, you will find the declaration on page 17 of your conferring booklet, and I now invite the graduands to recite after me the following declaration. I acknowledge my position at the forefront of my field of learning and scholarship. I understand my responsibility to use this learning to contribute and lead in my community. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will uphold the highest ethical standards and demonstrate unwavering academic integrity in my chosen profession. I will respect any confidential information that is entrusted in me. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to interfere with my duties in my chosen profession. I will not use my knowledge to violate human rights or civil liberties, even under threat. I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those in whose steps I walk and gladly share such knowledge with those I follow. I will promote the highest standards of practice, lifelong education and research in the interest of human health. I make these solemn promises solemnly, freely and upon my honour. Thank you. You may take your seats.
For the award of the Master of Pharmacy, MPharm, I invite the graduands for the Master of Pharmacy to please be upstanding as I present you for conferring. Pre honorabilis pro cancellariae totaque universitas, presento vobis has meus filios, quosem temoribus, quam doctrina habiles, et esse qui admittur ad graduam in magisteri in pharmacia, idaque tibi fide mea testor expondeo, totaque academiae. I invite the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the NUI to admit the graduands.
Ego auctoritate mi concessa admitto vos ad gradum magisteriae in pharmaciae.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduands.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates with the Master of Pharmacy.
Professor Steve Kerrigan, Deputy Head of Research at the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences at RCSI, will now introduce the graduands to receive their degree.
I will introduce the MPharm graduates in turn. Puteri Balquis Ramelli. Siobhan Tan. That concludes the announcement for Master of Pharmacy. Congratulations.
For the award of Master of Science, MSc, I now ask the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Advanced Clinical Practice, Physician Associate Studies, and Master of Science by Research to be upstanding as I present you for conferring. Pre honorabilis pre cancellariae totaque universitas. Presenter vobis has meus filios, sum tam martyrimus, quem doctrina habilem esse coadmitter ad graduum magisteri scientiae, idique tibi fide mea testor expondeo totaque academiae. I invite the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the NUI to admit the graduates.
Ego auctoritate me concessa, admitto vos ad gradum magisteriae scientiae.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates of the Master of Science in Advanced Clinical Practice, Master of Science in Physician Associate Studies, and Master of Science by Research.
Professor Lisa Alexander, Programme Director of the Master of Science in Physician Associate Studies, will come to the lectern to introduce the graduates.
I will now call on the graduates to come forward. Louise Arnott. Anna Brennan. Jillian Fitzgibbon. Linda Hogan. Ida Liss. Aisling McCoy. Kira O'Hanlon. Neve Tracy. Leanne Woods. And Leanne is also the recipient of the Physician Associate Award. Congratulations to everyone.
For the awards of the degree of Master of Science, it gives me pleasure to invite Professor Darren O'Connor, Head of the School of Postgraduate Studies at RCSI, to introduce the graduates.
I will now call on the graduate to come forward for the Master of Science in Advanced Clinical Practice. I invite Caoimhe May Lennon to come forward. I will now call on the graduates to come forward for Master of Science by Research. Alessandra Biagini. Saoirse Toland. Evelyn Walsh. And that concludes the conferment of the Master of Science in Advanced Clinical Practice and the Master of Science by Research. Congratulations.
For the award of the degree of Master of Surgery, MCH by module, I invite the graduates for the degree of Master of Surgery, MCH, to be upstanding as I present you for conferring. Pre honorabilis pro cancellariae totaque universitas. Presenter vobis has meus filios et hunc mea filium, quos sim tam moribus, quam doctrina habiles esse qui admitter ad graduam doctoratus in magisteria in chirurgiae, idique tibi fide mea testor expondeo totaque academiae. I invite the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the National University of Ireland to admit the graduates. I invite the President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland to admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates of the Master of Surgery by Module.
Professor Darren O'Connor from the School of Postgraduate Studies will now introduce the graduates.
I will now call on each graduate to come forward. Yusuf Abdallah Yusuf Adam. Elena Mirabella Neculai. And that concludes the conferment of the Master of Surgery MCH by module. Congratulations.
For the award of the degree Doctor of Medicine MD, I invite the graduates for the Doctor of Medicine to please be upstanding as I present you for conferring. Pre honorabilis pro cancellariae, todique universitas, prosento vobis has meus filios et habeas meus filios, quos sim tam moribus, quam doctrina habiles esse qui admittor ad graduam doctoratus in medicina, idique tibi fide mea testor expondeo todique academiae. I invite the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the NUI to admit the graduates.
Ego auctoritate mihi concessa admitto vos ad gradum doctoratus in medicinae.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates of the Doctor of Medicine.
Professor Darren O'Connor will call the graduates forward.
I will now invite each graduate to come forward. I will also include the title of their thesis, Mohammed Hijaz Adnan, an exploratory study to characterise the gut microbiome in temporary lobe epilepsy. Sean Fitzgerald, treatment strategies for complex calcific coronary lesions. Raphael Gafour, challenges and advantages of using big data in evidence-based medicine. Wan Lin Ang, remote early identification of disease progression in connective tissue disease-related interstitial lung disease using digital patient-empowered monitoring. Aoife O'Brien, investigating the role of a novel non-synonymous nucleotide variants and susceptibility to Dupuytren's disease in a Western Australian family. Sarah Tavisum, relationship between maternal diet, stress, and macronutrient content of preterm expressed breast milk. Hassan Yusuf, liver outcomes and alpha-1 deficiency. The following candidates will be conferred in absentia today. Congratulations to each of you: Mahmoud Farhan, Emer Gibbons, Robert McGrath. That concludes the conferment of the degree of Doctor of Medicine. Congratulations, everybody.
For the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, I now invite the graduates for the Doctor of Philosophy to be upstanding as I present you for conferring. Pre honorabilis pro cancellariae, todique universitas, prosento vobis habeas meus filios et habeas meus filias, quos sim tam moribus, quam doctrina habiles esse qui admittor ad graduam doctoratus philosophiae, idique tibi fide mea testor, expondeo todique academiae. I invite the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the National University of Ireland to admit the graduates.
Ego auctoritate mihi concessa admitto vos ad gradum doctoratus philosophiae.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates of the Doctor of Philosophy.
Professor Darren O'Connor from the School of Postgraduate Studies at RCSI will now introduce the graduates.
I will now invite each graduate to come forward, and I will also include the title of their thesis. Jonah Byrne, Prognostic Research in Individuals at Risk of Psychosis Using Blood-Based Biomarkers. Stephanie Crone, Biomechanical Characterization of Upper Urinary Tract Pressures, Urethric Flow Parameters and Influencing Variables in Endourology. Aisling Croak, General Practice-Based Pharmacist Medications Optimization Program, a pilot cluster randomized control trial, economic and process evaluation. Norman Delante, Novel Genomics and Treatments of Refractory Epilepsies, Translation to the Clinic. Louise Durand, Opioid Agonist Treatment in Ireland, a multi-setting assessment of key outcomes for people with opioid use disorder and impact of changes introduced to delivery of OAT during the COVID-19 pandemic. El Hussein El Hassan, Familial Variability in Genetic Kidney Disease. Ifeola Tembi Fashina, Investigating the Role of MicroRNA-Associated Variation in Neurological Conditions. Aisling Hegarty, Genomic Characterization of Disease Progression in Hereditary Breast Cancer, Implications for Clinical Care. John E. Hughes, Pharmacoepidemiology and Pharmacoeconomics of Drug-Drug Interactions in the Older Community Dwelling Population. Daniel Kane, Sexual Assault Treatment Units, The Irish Experience. Daniel is also this year's valedictorian. Louise Keating, Conservative Management for Recent Onset Cervical Radiculopathy and Prognostic Modelling of Health Outcomes. Batahan Kisikal, Utilising a Multi-omics Approach to Profile Tumour Heterogeneity in Colorectal Cancer. Liam Leahy, Development of a 3D printed electroconductive neurotrophic scaffold to deliver electrical stimulation to drive axonal outgrowth for spinal cord injury repair. Alberto Martinez Serra, Experimental and Simulation Studies on the Interaction between Biomolecules and Nanomaterials. David McAvoy, Identifying High-Risk Groups and Informative Trends for Self-Harm in Adolescents and Young Adults. Tara Maguire, Development of an siRNA-activated scaffold to promote neuronal regrowth and recovery following spinal cord injury. Sarah Nicholson, Outpatient Elective Induction of Labour at 39 weeks gestation, the Home Induction Randomised Control Trial. Jessica O'Driscoll, Considerations for Population-Based Breast Screening and Understanding the Impact of Unexpected Healthcare Disruptions on Breast Cancer in Ireland. Joyce O'Riordan, Empowering Physiotherapy for Oncology with Exercise and Rehabilitation, designed with physiotherapy-led service for people with metastatic breast cancer in the primary care setting. Andrew Rowe, Histone deacetylase 6 and mitochondria in triple-negative breast cancer. Anya Schweikert. Sex hormones modulate the fibrotic response of type 2 alveolar epithelial cells in pulmonary fibrosis. Ashwini Shanmugam. Haplotypes reveal ancestry, demographic history, and variant origins. Connor Shine, polyethylene glycol and polyglycerol-based peptidomimetics of antimicrobial peptides. And the following candidates will confer in absentia today. Congratulations to each of you: Christina Campbell, Jennifer Clark, Michael Joyce, Deirdre McCartan, Robert Sterling, and Tao Xu. That concludes the conferment of a degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations to all our new graduates, with a special mention to those who are not able to be with us in person for today's ceremony. Congratulations to all of you. I now formally close the conferring ceremony. Prae Ambris pro cancellariae totaque universitas ceremonis rite confectus quaeso fascist finem huius convectona universitae. That completes the National University of Ireland conferring ceremony. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Daniel Kane to come forward and to deliver the valedictorian dictress on behalf of the class of 2025.
So, President, Chancellor NUI, Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Registrar NUI, Deans, Council, Supervisors, RCSI staff, Heads of School, colleagues, family friends, partners, friends, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. It is a great honour to stand before you today as valedictorian, representing this remarkable graduating class of RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences. For all of us graduating here today, this moment represents the culmination of years of hard work and dedication, years marked by growth, setbacks, perseverance, and countless hours spent in the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. Each of us has walked a unique path to get here, yet despite our varied disciplines and research focuses, we share a common thread: resilience, determination, and an unwavering commitment to progress in health sciences and education. We should be immensely proud of what we've achieved, because every hypothesis we tested, every question we explored, and every challenge we faced has contributed to something greater than ourselves. The journey to a postgraduate degree is rarely walked alone. Today, we celebrate not only our academic achievements, but also the support systems that have sustained us. To our professors, mentors, and supervisors, thank you for your guidance, your wisdom, your persistence in challenging us to think and aim higher. To the faculty and RCSI staff, your support and leadership have been invaluable. RCSI is a university deeply rooted in clinical and patient-centred research. Many of our degrees would not have been possible without the contributions of patients and healthcare teams across Ireland and indeed worldwide. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to those who participated in our studies, particularly those who did so during incredibly vulnerable times. Through my work with survivors of sexual violence, I've developed a profound respect for their courage and selflessness. Their willingness to share their stories in the hope of helping others is something I deeply admire and will never forget. We are also grateful to our funders and collaborators. Without your support, much of our impactful research represented here today would not have been possible. Personally, I'd like to thank my supervisor, Professor Maeve Ogan, along with my supervisor, Professor Karen Flood, and also my mentor, Professor Malone at the RCSI Rotunda Hospital. Their inspiration, support, and belief in me throughout the PhD process has meant everything. To our family and friends, your encouragement, patience, and sacrifices have made this day possible for us all. You've been our foundation, and we are deeply grateful. On a personal note, I'd like to thank my own wife, Mary Claire, our daughter Lara, and my parents for their unwavering love and support, not just over these past few years, but throughout my entire educational journey. This achievement is as much yours as it is mine. Today we receive some of the highest academic awards in Ireland: Masters, MDs, and PhDs. It's easy in the relief of crossing the finish line to overlook what an extraordinary achievement this is. The journey was not linear. It involved failures, setbacks, and self-doubt for sure, but through perseverance and the support of countless individuals, we made it. As we graduate, we step into a world of rapid change in healthcare and science. Our training at RCSI has equipped us not only to respond to these changes, but to lead and innovate through them. We are part of a global network of health professionals and researchers, ready to make meaningful contributions. So to my fellow graduates, congratulations. Take pride in this moment, enjoy the celebrations, and as we move forward, I hope that we stay connected as collaborators, colleagues, and friends, committed to conducting impactful research and improving lives. Thanks again for this opportunity to speak here today. Congratulations, class of 2025. Best of luck in all of your future careers, and may we all continue to make a difference.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kane. Now it gives me pleasure to call on the Registrar of the National University of Ireland to address our guests and graduates.
President of RCSI, Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Deans, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and most especially our new graduates. I'm very grateful to Daniel for the valedictorian address, for enumerating the number of people who've contributed to what you have achieved today. So it's great to get that list and to get it out there, to acknowledge everybody. As Registrar of the National University of Ireland, I'm honoured to join you today at today's conferring ceremony here at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. It's a privilege to confer these degrees on behalf of NUI and welcome you into our community of graduates. In choosing to study at RCSI, you've received your education at one of Ireland's most prestigious and internationally renowned institutions. RCI's continued growth, its diverse student body, and its rising global reputation reflect a deep commitment to excellence in medical and healthcare education. Today marks a major milestone in your lives. Your degrees represent years of rigorous study, development of skills and personal growth. For those of you who've been studying for doctoral degrees, that has spanned through the COVID pandemic as well, and I'm sure the start of your studies was fairly severely impacted in that. You've mastered complex knowledge and demonstrated the dedication and resilience required to succeed in your demanding field, and we acknowledge and applaud all that you have achieved. While academic reputation is important, RCSI also stands for its vibrant and inclusive community. The spirit of support and connection among students and staff is one of its greatest strengths and never more visible than on graduation day. This is a moment of celebration, not only for you, as Daniel said, but also for your families and your friends, whose encouragement and sacrifices have played a vital role in your success. Their pride today is richly deserved, and I thank them for the essential part that they have played in your journey. On behalf of National University of Ireland, I extend our warmest congratulations. You are now part of a long tradition of NUI graduates making a difference in healthcare and in society, both in Ireland and around the world. I'd also like to offer particular congratulations to Ms Mary Mitchell O'Connor, who received an honorary doctorate today. As a former Minister of State for Higher Education, she's been an advocate for gender equality and greater inclusion in education, and we heard some thoughts on that today. Indeed, my time in University of Galway as head of school, I was delighted to engage with both the Athena Swan and Sally initiatives that came from her department. This honour rightly acknowledges her impactful work in public service and her lasting contributions to Irish higher education. For the university, today's ceremony is not just a recognition of your achievement, it's also a celebration of your potential. I'm confident you new graduates will continue in the proud tradition of RCSI graduates who serve, lead and innovate. Congratulations to each of you, and my best wishes for your future health, happiness and success.
Thank you, Dr. O'Leary. That now concludes the RCSI degree conferring ceremonies and presentation of awards. My sincere congratulations to all our new graduates. My sincere thanks to our professional and academic staff at RCSI who've supported you on your journey. I think any degree is difficult. A postgraduate degree is truly a team sport. I'd like to ask you all one more time to stand up and turn and face your family, friends and supporters and acknowledge the contribution they've made to your success today. I'd like to, on behalf of RCSI, to invite our graduates, your families and guests to join us for a reception in the college boardroom and old exam hall. And if I could please ask you to be upstanding for the outward procession. Thank you.